Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Some piece of
Why am
shit's
I
over
poop?
there.
Why am
I
I poop?
I put that up just in case you weren't back by the time the countdown was done,
Why am I poop?
and then I forgot to turn it off when you got back.
But why am I poop?
Why are you poop? That's a
I don't
good
know.
question.
I mean, I am what I eat, and on this road trip, I've had some pretty shitty meals just driving up here. The options are kind of sparse when you're on the highway.
Uh, Someone's saying echo.
Someone is saying echo.
I'm blaming them having both streams open at the same time.
That would be what I would blame as well. But I'll blame anybody but myself.
Um, John Elfin says, "Yeah, don't watch two streams at the same time." I know. You know what? It is not outside the realm of possibility that I have set something up in the wrong way and we have an echo. But in my experience, when the chat says there's an echo, that's usually one person who just has the stream open twice. Thank you for the hydrate, Van Briggs, and I will go get my hat collection, which is not far, thankfully, but I did not have it right beside me because I don't know why.
We all make mistakes.
World's okayest bisexual. The script I'm working on right now just so happens to be about LGBTQ related stuff, and it's weird. It's still weird to me referring to myself as being a part of the LGBTQ community. But it's one of those things,
So,
like, it's not technically untrue.
can I make a complaint? Not towards you. You can do whatever you want. I just need to make a complaint. Why is it that when I try to log into Zoom, because I'm in a new location, it wants me to put in a one-time passcode on top of my normal password. Okay, cool. So I put in the one-time passcode, and it says, "Oh, well, we've sent something to your email address." Okay, cool. Go to the email address. The email address also does not want to let me log in unless it sends a one-time passcode somewhere else.
Well, the state you went to is one of the ones that has all the new age verification things on the books.
I mean, so does Georgia. I can't go to Pornhub in Georgia.
Yeah, but because you... Well, yeah, surfshark.com/RHINO. Use code Rhino at checkout. I don't know why I'm advertising that here. It's completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated. Just like most of the families in Alabama.
Actually, so I don't think this applies in the States. I know in the UK it is illegal for me to explicitly recommend using a VPN to bypass their ID laws. So actually, like, I did that in my last ad. Then I was like, wait a minute, I don't know that that's legal to say. So let's just cut that out and put the tail end of that in the outtakes because that's funny that I almost did a crime while advertising. But I still made it very clear that it was targeted toward that sort of thing. But yeah, I forget where I was going with this. I had something.
Well, to jail, obviously, you did a crime.
I didn't do a crime. I edited the crime out. It's not a crime if I don't publish it.
It's not a crime if you fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly. As long as nobody sees the pre.
Anyway, so the United States president.
Unfortunately, all of our stories tonight are about him. That asshole.
And somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah. Okay, back to the VPN thing. It's the funny thing about laws like that is, like, yeah, no, I cannot tell you to sign up for a VPN to bypass those things, but I can tell you that I'm not allowed to tell you that. Didn't Pornhub do some GeoIP blocking recently? Yeah, probably.
Fuck autoplay.
It's okay for you, Rhino. I'm watching someone who's also talking about it, and he's sponsored by them, and he hasn't been arrested yet. He lives in the UK. So that's one of the great things about VPN sponsorships is they don't care if you push the envelope. Like, you can waltz right up to that line and even, like, put your toes across it a little bit. and they just don't give a shit. So that's fun. Anyway, I've had an idea.
You've had an idea?
Yes. My idea was that the bulb back there that gives the plant light during the day is in the perfect spot for me to have had an idea.
Okay.
I thought that was funny.
God damn it.
You clearly have no class.
No, I'm 34. I haven't been in school in a very long time.
My kids are back in school. That's exciting.
That means you get time to yourself.
No, that means I can actually get shit done during the day. And maybe I won't be behind on my work all the time because every 5 minutes somebody's knocking on my door and being like, can I go on screens?
Like masturbating.
I mean, that's one of those things where, like, if you open the door without knocking, it's your own fault that you saw something you didn't want to see.
Fair.
Like, there's actually a sign on my door right now saying, like, oh, you get $5 taken out of your allowance if you knock on this door. So, like, think carefully before you knock on the door. Like, we put that up towards the end, and it actually did work. So that's fun. Monetary incentives. Capitalism for the win, I guess.
I will say, despite the fact that this trip has been expensive, turns out fueling up an EV costs about as much as fueling up a car at the charging stations.
Yeah, at home it's really cheap. Outside it's not so much. Now that also a Spoonbill of Adam for $5. Thank you. Says I like the light bulb. Thank you, Spoonbill. I appreciate that. You are truly a man of taste, or person of taste. Yeah, but it also depends on how they're charging, because there are some places that charge per kilowatt hour and other places that charge based on how long you're connected. And the ones that charge
so the places here do both. They do per kilowatt hour, and then if by some happenstance you're connected after that, they start charging you 40 cents a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way most of them are here as well, but there are some chargers that charge like $20 per hour, but then they don't take into consideration how much electricity they're sending. So, like, if you plug in and you're the only car there, that might be okay. But then if you're, like, on the same charger as the guy next to you and you're sharing the charge, now suddenly it's taking you twice as long to charge your car.
I think so a thing that I was noticing that's really frustrating with charging cars is that a lot of vehicle charging stations have all of them have different rules. Some of them, like the ones that I took on this trip, were all the ones where you can put your car in and it's basically just one more step than going to a regular gas station. And those have been nice. The ones that I hate are the ones that will not work unless you download their app.
Fucking hate those.
I can't stand those. I would like if we could get to the point where electric vehicle charging operated closer to what, the gas industry is right now, where there's no proprietary bullshit. Everything is completely universal.
The best part about this is that I know for a fact that I went on this exact same rant about a year ago. And so it's nice to have the vindication of you forgetting that I went on that rant and going on that rant for yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, because I like my vehicle. I like it's only added another $20 a month to my power bill, really. Mm-hmm. So it's actually been a lot cheaper to use my vehicle in and around town, going to Atlanta and everything. And I've just been using the trickle charger. I still haven't put in my level 2 charger. I still don't have that. I have the charger. Mm-hmm. The charger is sitting next to my car, along with my trailer hitch and everything else that needs to be installed on the car that I haven't done yet. So, I'm happy with it. What I'm not happy about is that the infrastructure for it is still evolving. I would like it to be in its final form.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that a lot of this is not it's not a lack of infrastructure thing. It's a them being obtuse and thinking like, oh, if I get them to download my app, then they're going to be looking for my station. So I will force them to download the app, so that way everybody that comes through here will then be trapped in my ecosystem, sort of thing. Except it's such an
But
easy...
that's not how it works.
No, that's not. But the one that infuriates me the most is Ivy. I don't know if you have Ivy chargers in the States, but they actually have a system where they can read NFC cards. So the tap cards, like your debit card or whatever that you tap instead of inserting and putting in your PIN or whatever. They can read those cards. But in order to get one of those cards, you have to sign up for an account, give them your credit card number, and then ask for them to mail you a card that is proprietary to them so that you can tap it at their chargers. I'm like,
why would I do
you
that?
already have an NFC reader installed on your charger. I have my debit card is tied to my phone. So if you just did a little bit of software tweaking, I could just unlock my phone, tap my phone, and boom, I'm paid. But no, you want me to request you to mail me a fucking physical card because you want to trap me in your goddamn ecosystem. No, thank you. I avoid Ivy whenever possible.
Man, imagine if their stations just started getting blown up. Imagine if enough people were frustrated, they were just like, no, we're done with this, and just started like actively destroying their shit.
I mean, people do that anyways, but it's usually idiots driving big... massive trucks with the truck nuts hanging off the back.
I do remember the first week I had my vehicle, somebody who was in a truck was parked on the side of the road in the middle of the night on like a back road that I was going through, and just he heard my vehicle and just like flicked me off the entire time as I was driving by, and I'm like, what? What did I do except drive car?
You drive electric car. So clearly you think you're better than him. I actually had a little bit of a short circuit in my brain the other day. You know how I'm kind of bigoted against truck drivers? Like not transport truck drivers, but like pickup truck drivers. You know, I ended up behind a pickup truck, and it was like one of the big obnoxious ones that like has got the raised suspension and the extended cab to make the bed useless and all that stuff. But then they had bumper stickers declaring themselves to be trans allies. And I'm just like, what? Nope, that's not the kind of person that drives truck.
Sometimes people who work construction just have obnoxious trucks and also are trans allies. Or, you know...
No, it was the kind of truck that someone who works construction would not drive. Because it was one of the ones that like would be useless as an actual truck.
Oh, no. You misunderstand. I didn't say they drove it for work. It's the kind of truck they drive to work to impress their friends, and then they get in a company vehicle afterwards.
Okay.
A Chevy overcompensator.
Yeah, Chevy overcompensator. OTM Shanks 99 says, I'm pretty high right now, but there's a pink cat talking on my screen and I love it. There we go.
Hi, it's me.
Thank you, Shanks. Speaking of which, is Stoff in the audience anywhere?
I guess we'll find out. I think, yeah, Stoff's in my audience right now.
My partner's kids have expressed an interest in starting YouTube channels. So I would like to get a price on doing up an like simple VTuber avatar for them so that they can feel like they're making videos without putting their faces out there.
Okay. Well,
so
that's a Stoff question.
Yeah.
And Stoff is in the chat. So
Stoff, get on it.
Oh my god.
Send your answer with an uwu. Yeah, no, not that kind of avatar for my kids. But I know what you're getting at. Stoff is just the one in the chat that I know can do that.
If Cassavel was in the chat, Cassavel can do it too. Cass is doing my my channel overhaul.
Okay. All right. Should we talk about some
Hillbilly
news?
says I drive a diesel. It's an itty bitty diesel, but it's a diesel nonetheless. You know, I'm getting tired. Speaking of diesels, I'm getting tired when I go on to like Facebook or YouTube Shorts or anything, and I scroll through wanting to have just like a couple minutes of mindless content. Like I'm on the pooper or something, and repeatedly I keep seeing videos that have the exact same premise. And the premise is person A has motorcycle or muscle car. Person B is girlfriend of person with motorcycle or muscle car. Girlfriend, because she's girl and stupid, puts diesel in the muscle car or motorcycle.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole genre.
And the and the and there's no joke. There doesn't seem to be any. The joke literally seems to be the guy just looking at the girl, going, "Why would you do this? What did you do?" And the girl not understanding. And it just feels like the premise of the joke is more your girlfriend is stupid and does not understand car like us dude bros with penises do.
Yeah, that's all it is. Spoonbill of Adam says, I mean, I overcompensate, but with an overpriced little sports car instead of a truck. I've got issues. I'm working on them. The first step is acknowledging that you have the problem. Thank you for the hats, Sean Helfen. Guess we're switching it up to Gary.
Stop says if your kids want Vroid avatars, Stoff can make them. So the secondary question was, what would be the price range for that?
Yeah, I know Stoff can. It's a question of whether I would be willing to pay for that for
what else is the exhaust pipe for but for a penis? The exhaust pipe is for penis.
Of course.
I mean, what do you use it for?
I don't have an exhaust pipe. I drive electric.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did get that surgery.
Thank you for the hydrate.
Of course you don't have an exhaust pipe anymore.
Nope. Does that count as bottom surgery?
I guess so.
Okay. News. Let's do news.
Okay.
I mean, some of it is good news. Most of it's not.
Some of it's. Oh, I love good news. What's the? Well, I'm curious as to what the good news is.
It's good news in this day and age, where it's like it's good news for now until the Supreme Court says no.
Okay. Well, what are we looking at?
Well, that one's not the first one. Well, you know what? Fuck it. It's my show. I can make it the first one. We can start with good news and end on a bad note. That's an
option you have.
We can start with the good news and end on a bad note. That's what we can do.
I like that less.
So this was sent to me by multiple people. My anonymous source, Andy T. Benson. Judge rules Trump cannot act as a national police chief. So this was U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer, who is the brother of former Supreme Court Judge, I think, Stephen Breyer.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Scott Roscoe. Silksong, is that the good news? Yeah. Today is the last day the world will exist without Silksong in it. I'm working hard to get my script done, and I'm going to get all my recording done first thing so I can spend like 4 hours to more playing Silksong.
You know, you just did the scratch on the chin of like the drug addict who needs a new hit.
Did I?
You like as you were
it's my beard lice.
Did the iconic
it's my beard
scratch of the side of the face towards the chin. You're just sitting there going, "Hey man, you got any more of those Metroidvanias?
Okay.
Hey,
stop.
You got any more of those?"
No, just the one. Staff says $30 per model if I need more than one. I think it would be 2. But yeah, sure. That sounds reasonable. We can figure stuff out and talk to other person. Okay.
You getting each other's DNs afterwards.
He's been in the news for another Trump thing, if I recall correctly. Yeah, he was. He struck down, or he said that Trump calling on the National Guard in the first place was illegal, and then that got appealed, and the Ninth Circuit overturned it and said, no, we can use the National Guard for this stupid shit. But this one is Gavin Newsom sued him not for bringing in the National Guard, but for how the National Guard has been used, because they're using the National Guard to do normal police stuff, like setting up street barricades and crowd control and shit like that. Stuff that the National Guard is explicitly not allowed to do. Like, it's in a law. it's illegal for the National Guard to do these things. And so this judge looked at that and said, yeah, it's illegal. No, cleaning up trash is in DC. And DC has different things. Like there's it's more likely that he's actually allowed to use the National Guard the way he is in DC than in other states, just because of how DC is. I don't understand the technicalities of that. Watch a Legal Eagle video if you want more. I assume Legal Eagle has a video on that.
I think it's because DC is not a state.
Yes. It should be.
Usually he does.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a great idea. DC statehood. That's my joke for the stream. You need to laugh at it. I can keep doing it until you laugh.
I don't even know what that would change.
No, my idea bulb.
Like, I don't even know what that would actually change.
My idea bulb. Okay, whatever.
No. The problem is that
it's
you don't even love me your head.
Cyrus.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out a time where I did. This is the part of the divorce proceedings where the one person goes, "It's like you don't love me anymore," and the person just slowly turns their head like, "Who said I ever loved you?"
Yeah. So Trump has now withdrawn. Go away. Trump is now
withdrawn, and you told him to go away. Go away. Perfect.
Sure. He withdrew all but 300 of the troops, and he's mulling over sending troops to other major cities like Chicago and New York, which would also be illegal, and which would also result in lawsuits, and which would also wind up even if he if he loses at the smaller courts, he's still going to get it overturned by the Supreme Court, who just says, "Yeah, no, we will suck Trump's dick all the way, balls deep." I mean, I saw an article last week that suggested that John Roberts might regret having, essentially said, no, we can't possibly charge Trump for any crimes ever.
Do you think Justice Roberts is going to regret things?
I don't know. I didn't actually read the article. That's what the headline said, and I know headlines are sensationalist, but I have hope that maybe he sees the errors of his ways and is going to, actually be reasonable now.
Naki Bree asks what brings you to my home state. So I'm in Iowa helping a friend with his house. House is in need of repairs. I know how to do some of those repairs, so I'm here.
Ooh, come help me build an office.
I mean, I know how to drywall.
Okay, but I need the framing first.
I know how to build framing.
Okay. Do you know how to do ceiling joists?
Building framing's easy.
Yeah, I know framing's easy, but ceiling joists?
I don't know how to do ceiling joists.
Okay,
I have not. Rather, let me be more specific. I have not done ceiling joisting before, but everything that I know how to do right now is something I didn't know how to do when I learned it. So
okay. So now we have an excuse for you to come to Canada. Now we just need you to overstay your visa,
and then I'll just overstay it for a while, and then a while more.
Yeah. Oh, but that doesn't work, because then if we build my office in the garage, then that'll become your room probably.
I go to sleep in the office, and then you get up, you just start shaking me awake. Cyrus, I've got to work. Sir, I have to get to fucking fine. I'm just gonna fucking sit on you while I work.
I will sit on your face while I work.
Not what I said. Not even
that's what I heard.
What I said.
That's what I heard.
You heard what you wanted to hear.
I did. So Breyer concluded that Trump's LA deployment, which was overseen by Pete Hegseth, violated a longstanding law meant to prevent domestic law enforcement by the military, the Posse Comitatus Act. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably saying it wrong, and I don't care. His decision followed a 4-day trial last month that included testimony from Pentagon officials overseeing the troop deployment in Los Angeles. So the act bars the military from enforcing domestic laws without explicit permission from Congress. But Breyer said that despite this restriction, the Pentagon systematically used armed soldiers to perform police functions.
I mean,
comitatus. Comitatus. That's how I'm reading that.
if Trump has his way, he literally just wants a group of effectively security guards as if he was running a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what he wants the National Guard to be more than anything. He wants the United States to operate as if it's a business, and he wants the National Guard to operate as if it's private security. That seems to be what he wants more than anything. And it's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. But at this point, all we can do is just keep trying to fight him in the courts.
Yeah, but the problem with that is once you get to the top of the courts, there's his stooges.
Yep. Hey, and there's even 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. And the White House criticized this ruling, saying, "Well, far-left courts try to stop President Trump from carrying out his mandate to make America safe again. The president is committed to protecting law-abiding citizens, and this will not be the final say on the issue." If he's committed to protecting law-abiding...
Wait, why is the White House tweeting out about, like, far-left radicals?
Because a judge said Trump can't do a thing. And that's obviously the only reason they would do that is if they're far-left radical. But what I say is that if Trump is truly committed to protecting law-abiding citizens, he needs to himself.
I mean, with his pinky too? Jeez.
Yes. All the way. He needs to go all the way.
It frustrates me to no end because we have not, in my knowledge, we have not until this administration had such a focus from a president on specifically the left is bad or the right is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have had presidents mention it before.
Every other president at least makes a show of being like, hey, Republican or Democrat, you are all American citizens, and I am the leader of America. I represent all of you, so I'm going to do what I can for all of you. Whereas Trump has been the first president in history that's like, if you're not on my team, then fuck you. You don't deserve emergency aid when a hurricane hits.
My team is Team America. If you're not Team America, then I don't even know what you're doing. No, seriously, I'm really not all here. I don't know what you're doing. They have me pumped up with so many fucking drugs.
Yeah, it goes in the IV in my hand. You see the bruising? It's something awful. Oh. Yeah, safe again, Massa. Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, no, the Make America blank again. It's part of it's part of the fascist simplification of language in order to have like your thought-stopping slogans.
Also, calling it Massa just feels wrong.
I mean, it is wrong.
I mean, yes, obviously, but like, we already have a set of short frame language for what that's supposed to imply.
Okay, I don't know what this was with reference to, but Sean Helfin said, "Oh my god, Rhino, that is so disgusting, and I spend nights with the goddess Hela." I'm assuming that that's referring to me sitting on your face. Although that was not long enough ago that would make sense. But
yeah, that's weird.
Make America nuanced again, and then we can do magic because we've collected mana.
The Gathering, the collectible card game?
Well, I mean, mana is a magic power in like every friggin' fantasy game type thing there is.
True. Unless you're playing D&D, and then it's still fucking spell slots. I don't like the spell slot system.
Yeah, you know what? It would be... I found when I was playing that we didn't use our good spells hardly ever. Because, like, well, what if I use it now and I need it later? So I could better save it for the bigger boss. So it would be nice if there was a way to replenish that without having to take a long rest or whatever.
Yeah, the only way that I have seen that like groups really use their spells is when the DM has a very, very lax policy on long rests. Like being able to long rest inside a dungeon so long as you've cleared the area, inspected it for traps and stuff. Like that's when I see that people are willing to use their spell slots a little more loosey-goosey.
So I think I'm not much for actual play podcasts, but I do listen to D&D minus. And one of the dynamics that has arisen on that show is that Heath Enright will just do whatever is the most chaotic thing in the moment. Like he is just an agent of chaos, and sometimes that means he expends his high-level spell slot on something completely stupid. Like I think it was the previous season, but there was like one season where he had he had a cloak of bread summoning, where like he could reach into his pockets and pull out a loaf of bread, and you'd roll a D100 to see what type of bread it was. And multiple times he's like, he was the tank of the group, so he had the most damage and the most HP and everything, but he spent his turn pulling bread out of his pocket with the hopes that it was going to be the right kind of bread that would distract the guy so that someone else could beat him up. And it's just hilarious. Rhino is just like me, finishes games with an inventory full of elixirs just in case. Yeah, so when I play Final Fantasy VII, I just fucking, I don't care about that it's technically cheating. I use the W item glitch to get 99 of every fucking thing. And that's the only way that like I will actually use my elixirs, because I know I can get it back up to 99 at the next battle.
Don't we actually, like, because of Pokemon specifically, I believe we actually have like a video game concept called the Elixir Problem that's in direct reference to that. Fairly certain. Oh, well.
Yeah. Spoonbill of Adam says, for $5, says, my only D&D experience is playing Baldur's Gate 3. It's a great game, but I could take or leave D&D aspect of it. Yeah, but what about the bear sex? And I don't mean sex while naked. I mean sex with an actual bear. Because that's a thing that happens.
The elixir the elixir problem is a known issue in game design, and it is called the elixir problem because of RPGs that unilaterally use elixirs as a thing that lets you replenish spell points. Whatever your spell points happen to be for that game.
Let's also not forget the candy problem with Pokemon. Well, actually, candy is steroids.
So don't forget the candy problem. I don't think there's a candy problem.
No, the candy problem is that candy is steroids.
I mean, yeah, it is, but like, I don't know. I've never seen players discuss rare candies as a problem in a game outside of like a dupe glitch is really easy, and therefore you get people using them. I
think Sean just wanted to point out that candy is steroids.
I think so. That seems to be what it was.
You know what, Sean? Cirrus is not doing his best work at getting the jokes today. So, I see you, Sean.
I see. You just had to go ahead and turn on the light bulb when you did that.
Yes, I did.
I see. I understand.
Anyway, back to the story. The judge said the California National Guard contingent known as Task Force 51 has clearly violated those limits by engaging in routine law enforcement actions under the orders of Pentagon leadership. The violations were not one-off acts by individual service members, but rather the function of systematic and willful orders to troops to execute domestic law. Then he lists the things that they did, like setting up protective perimeters, traffic blockades, crowd control, and the like. There was no rebellion, nor... Oh yeah, this is... He goes back to his original ruling, saying that it was illegal to call it out in the first place, where, like, he can't relitigate that, but since he's the one writing the opinion on this one, he can, like, point out that, no, I was right about that. There was no rebellion, nor was civilian law enforcement unable to respond to the protests and enforce the law, the judge wrote, adding, this was intentional. Defendants instigated a month-long deployment of the National Guard Marines to Los Angeles for the purpose of establishing a military presence there and enforcing federal law.
Wasn't it 29 days specifically so that none of the guard members could get their per diems?
Something like that. Someone in the chat said something like that.
Yeah, that's also shitty. Like that, I feel like when you intentionally skirt the spirit of a law like that, it should be retroactively enforced if you're in a high position of power.
Sure. I also think, like, keep in mind when he does stuff like deploy the National Guard, knowing that it's going to result in a flurry of lawsuits. Who's paying for the lawsuits? When a state governor sues the President of the United States and his administration, who is footing the bill there? It's the taxpayers.
Yep.
So, like, he claims to be all about minimizing government waste and maximizing the income. He's like, he's going to run the government as a business, even though that's a really stupid idea. And, you know, make it profitable. It's like, no, you are doing things that you know is going to get you sued. And then it's the taxpayers that are footing the bill for this. That, like, talk about waste and inefficiency. Like, never mind the cost of mobilizing the guard on its own. How much of these lawsuits cost?
Yeah, that's even thinking about that just makes me kind of want to ram my head through a wall.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie.
So that's our good news for today.
Oh boy. Well, if that's the good news, then what's the bad news?
Well, we still have bad and bad but silly. So let's just go bad for the middle. We can end on silly.
Okay.
This was sent to me by my anonymous source. Tiny African country asked Trump for $500 million to detain migrants.
Okay.
Small African nation is currently imprisoning 5 immigrants that were not deported from the United States, but rendered from the United States. Reportedly asked the Trump administration for $500 million to detain them. The documents that they got also show that Eswatini was open to detaining 150 people from other nations for more than $10 million from the United States, the newspaper reported. But they were not warned that they were getting these people. They were blindsided by the Trump's administration's plan to send a group of men with criminal convictions to their country. They had only learned about the flights from social media. So there were no diplomatic discussions. This didn't go through proper channels. They just saw on
just
Twitter.
Just kind of happened.
They're like, hey, apparently the United States is sending a plane full of criminals to us. And in this case, they actually did try to get actual criminals, although still not really.
In this case, the fact that we have that clarification in the first place is a bit sickening.
Yeah, but then also, so one of the guys that they got, Orville Itoria, he was sent to prison for murder. He completed his prison sentence in 2021, and he was so while he was in prison, a judge revoked his permissions, his immigration permissions. But after he was released, he was allowed to legally live and work in the country on the condition that he complete regular check-in appointments with immigration authorities. While he was in prison, he completed a bachelor's degree. Now that he's out of prison, he has been working on a master's degree. I mean, it's a master's of divinity, so
it's not a real degree.
Seems like that's one of the, like, first, it's not really a degree. Second, it's like, that's very clearly Christians get special treatment in the United States justice system. So if he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not only am I a Christian, I'm studying to become a scholar.
I'm an important Christian.
Yeah. So that to me seems rather cynical. I don't know. I don't actually know this guy. I'm not going to judge him, but the fact that they Homeland Security labeled him and the other men sent to Eswatini as depraved monsters who are so uniquely barbaric that their home countries won't accept them. Problem with that being is that Itoria is from Jamaica, and Jamaica issued a statement and like, no, we never rejected anyone. They didn't tell us that they wanted to send them back. We have not refused the return of any of our nationals. So
somebody's lying here.
Yeah, that's the thing. So the country that they were sent to, Eswatini, they are in, like, they're civically speaking, they're not in a great place right now. There are protests. The people don't trust the government. So, like, they say that they asked for $500 million. Did they actually? We don't know. It's hard to tell because it's liars talking to liars. Now, they didn't actually claim that they said that. This is from documents that what is this? The Independent. Okay, documents reviewed by the New York Times. So the New York Times got a hold of documents that said that, and the citizens are pissed about that, saying that it's like a backroom deal where they're, making deals with the United States. The United Nations Human Rights Commission is not happy about this either because this country has a history of human rights violations. So yeah, who's lying? I don't know. My money's on all of them.
I mean, when it's liars talking to liars, what are you going to do?
I believe Jamaica when they said that we didn't refuse the return of any of our citizens. But that's about it.
I love this city. I love this country. I love everything about it, except all the things it does, and all the people it hurts.
Yeah.
And where the tax money goes, and its infrastructure, and the people who live here, half of them, because of how they voted. Actually, come to think of it,
America's the greatest. #1 country on earth for school shootings.
No. America's not great. No. We're supposed to make America great again.
Right.
A very important distinction.
Very important. Okay, I assume my chat's still talking about Baldur's Gate because I tried to be a murder hobo, but I just couldn't do it.
Oh, in Baldur's Gate?
That sounds like a Baldur's Gate type of thing.
It's hard to just be a murder hobo in Baldur's Gate because you get people like telling you that they've had a terrible time, and it makes you feel sad, especially when you know that like you killing their kid is why they had a terrible time.
Yeah. Sarah's pulling a reverse. What have the Romans ever done for us? Probably one of the most painful YouTube videos I ever saw was a real historian reacting to the life of Brian. But like they kept on just actualing it. It was like, yeah, we know it's a satire. It's a silly movie. But like everything they said, they would take it seriously and be like, well, actually, and that was one of the things. Like, well, the Romans wouldn't have actually done this. They like Judea would have, really had that already, and they didn't really do a whole lot of this sort of thing, and they would have built on what's already there. And it was like, okay. And the aqueduct was one of the things. Is like, yeah, no, the Romans did do that, and the Jews were pissed about it because they used money from the temple treasury for that. That was that's one of the Pontius Pilate things, where the biblical portrayal of Pilate as this guy who just wanted to make the Jews happy and not threaten him, and like just give in to the peer pressure. Like, oh, they're yelling so loud about how they want to crucify him. That's not the picture of Pilate we get from any other source that talks about him. He is universally depicted as being this kind of ruthless dictator who went out of his way to offend the Jewish sensibilities. So the fact that he would have been like, oh, but they really want me to crucify him, so I guess I better do that, otherwise they'll be mad at me. Like, no, that's not Pilate. If anything, he would have been like, oh, you're mad at me for not crucifying him? Okay, then he goes free.
I guess we'll do it more.
Actually, no, he wouldn't set him free. He would, but that's the thing. Like, he argued with them and he tried to set them free in the Bible, but like, actual Pilate would have just been like, oh, you accused him of something? Sure, we'll crucify him, whatever. Not out of respect for the Jews, but out of just he doesn't care.
The fact that for him it's just a Tuesday.
Yeah.
One man's life hangs in the balance. I don't think you understand. I have a hot tub to get to.
Yeah, exactly. My palace at Caesarea is calling. Okay. On to still bad news, but silly. Trump is asking for $15 donations in order for him to get to heaven. Now, I misread this. I thought he was soliciting donations, being like, if you give me $15, you will go to heaven.
I mean, that's just what the Catholics did.
Yeah, but no, he's actually saying, like, send me money so that I can go to heaven. Like that's actually his fundraising thing. The email framed his political survival and legal battles. Go away. Okay, I hate the way the highlighting works in this new app thing that I use for collating my news. Because anytime my mouse gets anywhere close to the highlighted area, no comment pops up. So he framed his political survival and legal battles as evidence of divine purpose and asked supporters to contribute $15 during a 24-hour Trump fundraising blitz. So the email presented past campaign events, including his 2016 victory over Hillary, his impeachment acquittals, and ongoing legal battles, as part of a spiritual narrative that justified the fundraising appeal.
What? How? What?
So, it's cut off at the bottom, so you guys can't see it. But in the campaign email, President Donald Trump said, "Last year, I came millimeters from death with that bullet pierced through my skin. My triumphant return to the White House was never supposed to happen." Okay, if it was never supposed to happen, then that means it's not ordained by God if it did happen.
But God willed it.
So, yeah. But I believe that God saved me for one reason, to make America great again. I certainly wasn't supposed to survive an assassin's bullets, but by the grace of the Almighty God, I did. Yeah, and by the grace of the Almighty God, that bullet went straight into a firefighter instead.
I have great news, everybody. Instead of doing that, instead of paying $15 to Trump, you can spend that money on my channel, and I promise that I will use it to charge my vehicle on the way back from Iowa. I also promise to spend it on food, which will likely be very unhealthy for me, both calorically and cholesterically. Is that a verb? I don't know. It is one now.
That wasn't. You didn't use it as a verb, though. That was an adjective.
Fuck off. I don't understand language. I'm in the United States.
America.
If it doesn't have freedom units on it, I can't read it. But I promise you, any money you send to me will, in fact, be spent on superfluous things like eating and getting home and, I don't know, maybe Magic the Gathering cards. I haven't really had much of a chance to do any of that here, so that's probably not happening.
I promise you that every dollar you send to me will be used. That is the God honest truth.
Send Cirrus metric money so he can't read it.
I think you're in the group chat that this came to. Someone sent a meme that had a picture of like some lumber up in a ceiling or something that is said like 42 dicks on it, and the caption was "Americans will use anything but the metric system."
I mean, they ain't wrong though.
Probably to feed your basketball team full of children. Yeah, that definitely has likelihood. I also have bills to pay though. Like, I can't stream here unless I pay my internet bill. So sometimes it goes to that too. Anyway, so yeah. Trump says, "Give me $15 and I'll go to heaven." The more money I raise, the more likely it is I'll get into heaven.
But, like, what if we don't want him to get to heaven? What if we want him to go to hell?
Well, then he's got to send us $15. Let's send him an email. Be like, "Hey, I don't want you to go to heaven. You better send me $15.
I'm on board with this. I like this plan.
I mean, he's not going to do it because he wants to go to heaven. No, we can fucking Peter Popoff this. Like, "Hey, Trump, you want to go to heaven? I know exactly how to get you there. You just got to send me $10,000 and I will tell you how to get to heaven for sure."
I hear that there's somebody in this audience who wants Donald Trump to go to heaven. I know that my wife is up in the balcony and she got submitted all the prayer requests, but I know that it's happened. Ah, yes, this one person over here, he wants Trump to go to heaven so bad. Well, give me a minute and give me a Glock.
Someone has a check in their pocket right now that is made out to me.
Jesus Christ. Clueless expert, thank you so much for tipping $100. Jesus Christ. I promise to use that money on fast food.
That's a lot of cheeseburgers. Actually, it's not a lot of cheeseburgers
It's
in
not
today's
really
economy.
a lot of cheeseburgers anymore.
No.
Well, first of all, Clueless Expert, yeah, you did donate the amount that makes me just get fuck it. Ooh, well, there you go. You got it. You got the thing. You got the thing, and so did Piper, unfortunately, because you donated it. You donated it while Rhino was here. Secondly, speaking of the expenses of things, so the first thing I was craving when I got to Iowa was Chinese food, because that's not really a thing you can eat on the road very easily without stopping and shit. And every time I stopped, I was taking a nap. That was how I was using my time, was nap time. So we get here and we sit down at a Chinese place and look at the menu, and just an order of General Tso's chicken is 20 United States dollars. And I just kind of looked at that, looked at Nick, looked at that again, and went, huh, I don't think we're eating here. When did the staple of the cheap takeout dish?
Yeah, there's a restaurant right around the corner from me that's
Fuck.
very good. Most of their dishes are around 25 to 30. Depending. If you like the fancy one, you can get the lamb ones are like 32.
25 to 30, that's Canadian, so that's closer to like 17 to 20.
It's not that big of a difference. No, not
Yes, it is.
I don't know what the exchange rate is right now. Okay. 30 USD to CAD. Nope, wrong way. CAD to USD. 21.74.
And that was for the 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said 25 to 30. Well,
1812.
so,
The year we burned the White House down. Actually, no, I think that was 1814.
So when I said between 17 and 20, I was quite literally $1 off.
Oh, Spoonbill of
On
Adam says
both
I can still
sides.
pray in tongues on demand. So if you need any, if you need any help, I can provide.
Suck a dick,
Yeah, I never understood the praying in tongues thing. Even when I was a Christian, it was like, how do you learn how to do that? And there was a part of me that like knew that it wasn't a real thing. So like there was a part of me that was like, I wonder if the guy that's babbling right now knows that it's not a real thing.
So
Candy,
a story that I've
Candy Black for $2 says, Cyrus, where are you in Iowa? I live in Des Moines.
So I am not going to say, because I don't want to dox my friend who's also a YouTuber,
He's in the left side.
but I am in Iowa, and that is as far as I am willing to go.
It's in Iowa left. Or Iowa right. All of Iowa's right. What are we talking about?
There's a lot of corn here. There's a lot of soybeans here.
Yeah, I remember hearing a linguist talk about it, how it uses similar elements to their native tongue. That's one of the reasons that we know it's bullshit, is that everyone who speaks in tongues only uses the elements that are found in their native language. So like you don't hear white North American preachers suddenly start using the click consonants that are common in South Africa, or well, not South Africa, but in Africa. And like stuff like that. Like the actual, like different languages have different sounds that a lot of people don't use. Like the rolling R of French is not something that we really do in English a lot. So someone who speaks English is not likely to do the rolling R when they're doing their Glossoleia thing. So it's really fascinating stuff. And although my favorite video is still the guy that like got distracted by his phone and then ended up sounding like he was taking a painful shit.
Jesus
It's like he was. Have you seen that video?
No, I have not.
Because I'm just gonna do an impression of it. I'm not gonna actually look up the video. But like he was like, there's music playing. And he's like, oh, and then he got a text message on the phone. And he looks down and he goes, as he's like scrolling his phone. It's the funniest thing.
Jesus Christ. Ultrafine Point for the 50-bit says, have you seen Slipknot while you're there? No, I haven't, because I have no idea that... Wait, they're here? Like, They
are slippery nuts. Although, ooh.
Like most of my... So I can tell you what I've done since we've been here. I have destroyed a staircase. I've gotten the materials to rebuild said staircase. We've repaired a garage door that hasn't opened in 25 years. We've taken a bunch of dirt. So apparently decades ago, this house had a bunch of dirt and soil that was supposed to be used for planting, but it was stored under the house. And the area it was stored in, the bags had dilapidated, so it was just a pile of soil. So we spent a decent time last night at 2 a.m. just kind of shoveling that out, just trying to get stuff fixed up. It's like that's what I've been doing. So I have not done other things. I've been working on repairs and shit. Well, that's been my time.
So I just remembered a thing that... So I meant to have this ready for last week, and I kind of half-assed it for you last week, but I completed it. So here we have the Dean Cain ice training video, the way it was meant to be experienced. I could just leave that looping.
So, the greatest thing is that when K-Fox, my editor, was working on our segment talking about the Dean Cain thing, she actually did add in the sad tuba noises to that bit as it was going. Just like, this is perfect. This is perfection. This is everything you need.
Eve of Everything says, you're making me want to go to my local Pentecostal church and spout some Klingon. Absolutely. Spout some blasphemy in Klingon. Please put that somewhere I can share it with people. I have it. I posted it on my Blue Sky account. I don't know if you can download it from there, but it is on my Blue Sky page. But yeah, no, it definitely needed the tuba. Okay, let's do the tweets.
Okay.
So, we're in the weirdest timeline.
Yes, we are.
I
agree with you, but I don't know why I agree with you.
There are two things that I now find myself agreeing with Marjorie fucking Taylor Greene on. That ain't right.
Once
I mean,
more, I
agree with her for vastly different reasons than she holds us. But like, the other thing that I agree with her on is that Israel is the bad guy in the Israel versus Palestine thing.
Yeah, but
she thinks that because she's anti-Semitic. I think that because genocide bad.
Yeah, that's a very we are not the same type of moment.
Yes. We both arrived at the right answer, but she in the show your work part, she got it all wrong. But anyway, so Cassie N says, what the fuck is wrong with Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene at a press conference with a backdrop labeling Trump as a pedophile? Ro Khanna played MTG for a fool. So this was the press conference where the Epstein victims came out and were like, we're just going to release our own list if you guys won't do it. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has been supporting them in that. And I'm like, yeah, no, anyone that like, the longer they cover it up, the more I think there's actually something there. Because like before I was like, there's probably not a client list. There might be one or two people that joined in with his games or whatever that is absolutely abhorrent, and like, yeah, I would like to know who those are. But like a lot of times, like, people will not be paying close enough attention to notice stuff like that going on. But like, the more Trump tries to hide it, the more he denies that, like, oh no, that wasn't my picture of a young lady that I signed, used my signature as the pubic hair, and wrote a creepy poem that was very clearly referencing fucking kids.
Mm.
Um, like, I don't know. I don't think there was an actual like list, but the more Trump tries to hide it, the more convinced I am that there is one and he's on it. So yeah, I find myself agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene again, but she's just hopped on it because she's a conspiracy-minded nutbag.
Welcome to America. On this season of America, guess what else is going to happen? More random bullshit.
I mean, is this the fracture of the GOP that we need?
So here's the thing. The GOP fractures all... The thing that I've noticed, the GOP fractures all the fucking time. They fractured over the last Trump presidency. They fractured with Elon. They're fracturing here. They fracture all the goddamn time. The problem is that when it comes time for voting, they always do so along party lines. When it comes time for voting for voters, they almost always do it along their party lines. The GOP can fracture a billion times. It doesn't matter. It's never mattered. It has never started fucking mattering. It just doesn't matter. It keeps happening. We keep watching it happen.
I need hope. Stop this. This is bad.
I apologize.
Especially with the fucking Democrat dark money stuff that... Like, when I finally got around to reading an article on that, I was very surprised to find out it was Brian Tyler Cohen. I thought he was a lot more progressive than that. But I guess he's kind of a shitbag.
Now, I've got to cover I have to cover that tomorrow when I get a chance. The problem is that my ability to stream is, kind of fucky-wucky at the moment.
Yeah,
but
you've been cutting in and out of this one.
I'm sorry. I wish I wasn't. But I really, really, really want the hope of just things are going to get better in regards to the GOP. We're going to see a fractured split. But every single time the fracture happens, it's long enough to make headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything goes back to the status quo. We saw this with Elon Musk and his stupid America Party. It was there long enough for the media attention, and then he walked it back. This keeps happening. It ceases to matter.
Yeah.
Jasper says, do you think there will be enough of a fracture once the cult leader falls off the mortal coil? No. I'm sorry, but okay, I'm going to go on a fucking rant. So, and this is not your fault, Jazz. So this has to do with politics in general. Everybody who watches politics for entertainment but does not study the history of political leaders, political parties, etc. And to be fair, I'm not the best student of these things either. So this is not me pointing a finger saying that I'm better than X person. I'm not. I don't study this shit near as well as I should. But we have a habit as human beings of never, ever, 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 ever looking at big picture. And I'm not meaning like, oh, you need to vote this way in order to make sure that we keep the big picture in mind. No, not like that. Big picture as in what is actually happening in the scope of a party. Because nothing politically is all because of one event. There's always a buildup over weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months. And sometimes that stuff just gets thrown under the rug, or sometimes none of that stuff gets reported because it's disagreements that are happening behind closed doors. But the fact of the matter is, we have a habit as human beings of looking at things as if there is one big event that is going to signal that things will change, or one big event that is going to signal that things are going to pivot. And to be fair, brainwashed is not the right word for it, but we've kind of been led to believe that's what's going to happen because we are a very media-centric society. We have a lot of media that focuses on the big event that changes everything. That's how you make a story. That's how you write a plot. We've been conditioned by a lot of the media we've consumed that there's gonna be a moment, but there's never gonna be a moment. There's 1,000 tiny micro moments. And we are not very good at keeping track of the 1,000 tiny micro moments.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, cat turd.
Yay!
So New York Post has an article, says COVID and the flu can trigger dormant cancer cells in your lungs study. Cat turd says, oh, for fuck's sake, with a bunch of vaccine things. Now, my lefty brain saw this and was like, he's encouraging people to get vaccinated, because clearly that headline says that COVID and the flu trigger dormant cancer cells, not the COVID and flu vaccines trigger dormant cancer cells.
But he's just going like, no, you had the jab. That's bad.
Yeah, so but like, not even the headline agrees with him on this. But I also took a screenshot from the article, like this is directly from the article that he posted. The breast surgeon at Staten Island University Hospital said the study underscores the importance of preventative strategies for The study underscores the importance of preventative strategies for respiratory viruses, such as vaccination. Like, his own goddamn source says that vaccine mitigates this. Fennec says I got my COVID shot today. I don't think there's a new shot available for me at the moment. I'll have to look into that. I mean, get the same one again if you can. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the immunity does taper out over time, and yeah, COVID has all sorts of nasty things. And the more frequently you get COVID, the more likely you are to get long COVID. And long COVID is shit from what I've seen. Like, used to be one of my favorite YouTube channels is the Physics Girl, where she would just go places and do physics stuff, and she was very entertaining to watch, very informative, and it was great. Reference to her videos in some of my videos sometimes. She got long COVID, and only just within the last couple months, like she got it at the beginning of the pandemic, and only just within the last couple months, she's been posting update videos where it's like, I'm finally able to like walk to the window and look out the window and not just be exhausted by seeing other people do things.
That's sad.
Yes. And that is not an uncommon thing to happen when you get long COVID. Like she got a very extreme case of it, but there are other people with the same thing. It's like, get your fucking COVID shots, because like if you have the COVID shot, you're way less likely to get COVID in the first place. If you do get it, it's going to be more mild, and it's way less likely to develop into long COVID.
Senchidi says, yeah, pro-diseasers cannot even get headlines right. Yeah, that's because so when you're anti-vax, it tells me that you don't know how to read.
The article's not even anti-vax. Like, it's the New York Post, so I forgive you for assuming that it was. But, like, this is right from the article. Vaccines are important, says the article that Cat Turd says is showing a link between vaccines and cancer. And it's like, no, not getting the vaccines. Like, I read the article, and I read a bit of the study. Study was over my head, and I didn't feel like delving into it to figure it out. But basically, my understanding is that it's the prolonged inflammation. So the longer you have whatever respiratory virus it is, the more likely it is to reignite. And this is in people that have had cancer before. It like would reignite them and cause them to metastasize. But it's the inflammation that does it, and it's the long inflammation. So like, if you have the shot and then you get COVID and you've only had it for a couple days and you're not inflamed, that's fine. If you actually get COVID and you have it and it knocks you out for like a month and a half, that's an issue. So, yeah.
Wolves Rain says, how much I miss? I'm in a different state right now. Not much there other than that.
State of denial about my brilliant light bulb joke. Moving on, we've got more cat turd coming up. I'm sorry. Said, This past few weeks, Trump has Democrats cheering on high crime in cities, illegals, drug smugglers, the cartel, transgender terrorists. What else? So
All right, so one by one, nobody is celebrating high crime in cities. What
Nope.
the fuck are you talking about? Two,
people aren't illegal.
illegals. You mean people? You
Human
mean
beings?
people? Yeah, we celebrate people wanting to be in the United States, because that seems to be what you're describing.
Yeah,
and
I
yeah,
thought-
hell yeah.
what happened to the American
hell
dream?
yeah, brother.
What happened to the
Hell yeah,
American dream?
brother! I'm celebrating people trying to get to in the United States. America's great. Well, yeah. Drug smugglers. I'm sorry, but I don't know who's actually celebrating that in general. By the way,
Newhouse.
drug smuggling would not be a thing if we, legalized most drugs. Anywho, the cartel. Again, once more, a thing that would not be a thing if we
Flower.
legalized most drugs.
Yeah, get rid of the war on drugs, you get rid of the cartels immediately, pretty much.
And transgender terrorists, are you talking about a mass shooter who people can't even fucking agree on whether or not the person was trans in the first place?
Was there some doubt on that? Last I heard, it was pretty solid that they were trans.
Let me go ahead and check, because I have seen nothing but back and forth on this.
Okay. I mean, last time I checked was last week, so I don't exactly have the most recent stuff. But also, like, as we emphasized last week, even if it does turn out that they were trans, you look at the statistics. Like, who is doing the mass shootings? Overwhelmingly straight cis white guys. Overwhelmingly. Like, the trans people are underrepresented. If anything, like, if the stats tell us anything,
this is like the fifth one in 20 years. But the real thing is not to sit here and try to argue the minutia of whether or not the person's trans. The better thing to do is to look at Cat Turd and go, who is celebrating a shooter?
nobody.
Who is celebrating a shooter? If the answer is nobody, then what the fuck are you talking about? I don't give a flying fuck if the shooter's trans. It doesn't change anything. They were still a mass shooter.
Oh, this reminds me of
Who
when
cares?
This reminds me of when the Gamergate people started latching on to, I forget the name of the game, but there was some game that came out that was kind of a mediocre game, but like the protagonist was in really, really skimpy clothes. And so the Gamergate crew were all like, oh, finally, a non-woke game. And they all made videos about how everybody was freaking out about it. But the freak out was entirely one French language IGN article that said it's kind of like
You talking about Stellar Blade?
Yeah, I think so. Like the article said
Pretty
something.
sure it's Stellar Blade.
That sounds familiar. But the article was something like, the developers clearly have never seen a woman before. But like everything else about it was they liked the game. But because they wrote that one line, the Gamergate crew latched onto that and be like, oh, the left are freaking out about this non-woke game.
You have to manufacture the freak out wherever you can, I guess.
Yeah. Spoonbill of Adam says, people talk about downtown Ottawa like it's a war zone filled with roving gangs of unhoused criminals, things people fall for. I haven't been to Ottawa in a long time. I do not remember it being anything like that when I was there, but admittedly that was a long, long time ago. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, nobody's celebrating any of these things except for the one that is just people. People trying to live their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And people on whom the economy is very heavily reliant. So like, even just from a practical standpoint, if you're just like all about the money and line go up, illegal, you shouldn't have made it so hard to legally enter the country if you rely on that much labor from immigrants.
Dragonic says Lollipop Chainsaw. Lollipop Chainsaw was like 20 years ago. I hate to make you feel old, but that predates Gamergate.
I'm unfamiliar with Lollipop Chainsaw.
It was an old Xbox 360 game about killing a bunch of zombies with a chainsaw while playing as a skimpily dressed cheerleader. and you had like her boyfriend on a chain because it was just his head. Like you lopped off his head and he was a sentient head on a chain.
Okay, yeah, but that sounds like a stupid game that knew what it was.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, so like that, I can get behind that. That sounds stupid. That sounds stupid and fun. But the what game were we talking about earlier? Star or something?
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade was the one that they were talking about like last year.
Yeah, so Stellar Blade. That one. My understanding is that there was like zero reason for her to be dressed skimpily in the story at all. Like there was no sex in the game. There was no sexualization. It was just here's a lady in a skimpy outfit for no reason.
Well, and it turns out a lot of that was because you could customize her outfit. Like
I think Sean did a video on that. I hate his fucking channel name because it's just like that sounds pretentious being like, oh yeah, no, Sean did a video on that. But no, that's his channel name. It was just Sean. Like he I forget the situation, the setup, but it was like you just find out that another character's child has died and you are the one to deliver the news. And so for a laugh, he put on the skimpiest outfit that you can put her in to deliver the news, and everything still plays extremely straight with no acknowledgement of the fact that I'm telling you about your dead child while wearing a thong bikini in the middle of a war zone. It's just, that's one of those things where it's like, you can put scantily clad women in your games if you want, just make it mean something or have some effect on the game or something.
I don't care either way. I think you can put characters in whatever costume the artist wants to put them in.
But I feel like there should it should fit in with the world in some way.
I mean, so that yes, there should be some artistic consistency between your character and the world that they're inhabiting. I agree with that. But like I don't think it matters all that much. I really don't.
Yeah, but like this game was like a post-apocalyptic hellscape where you're fighting monsters. It doesn't make sense to wear a thong bikini through that.
Right, but again,
so like there's no in-universe reason for it.
But again, that's an outfit that the player chose to put the character in, not the outfit they're canonically supposed to be wearing throughout the story.
I should have known the fucking big-titty cat would agree with that.
Yeah, just video games are art, and sometimes artists are horny, man. What the fuck are you gonna do?
Okay. Answers in Genesis says creationists and evolutionists have the same facts but different interpretations. Yeah, and some interpretations are objectively wrong.
Yeah, you can have a wrong interpretation,
and
like
AIG also
not
ignores
having
a lot
scantily
of the
clad
facts.
women in your game just because of artistic anything.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You know, I have the idea bulb, so I'm the one whose ideas matter here.
Yeah, but it's like behind the hat, so
yeah,
it's an obscure idea at best.
There, now it's positioned correctly.
Yeah, but now your back's gonna hurt.
A little bit. Anyway.
How's it going, Lilith?
So Don Volos replied to that with, that's because evolution is a weapon. That's
what?
Evolution's a weapon.
For what?
To be wielded while wearing a bikini.
Exactly. See, now we're on the same page. Also, why is Stellar Blade still $60? Can we get that?
Is it
price dropped?
Apparently, Silksong is going to be $20.
I mean, it's a new game from a AAA studio, so I understand that they're gonna hold that price for as long as they can.
Fucking Silksong could get away with it if they wanted to.
Yeah,
I'd pay $60 for it if it came out.
I'm aware. I'm not so like here. I will never be the person to say that video games deserve to be more expensive. I think video games should be cheaper. What I'm saying is that I understand why they would try to hold the price as long as they can, because that's what high money developers do, and I hate it because we don't need video games with all of that fucking fidelity. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
You could make good games with less.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be 4K. Yeah, no, I have mixed feelings about that, because on the one hand, Like, yeah, no, I would like games to be more accessible to more people, and it hurts to pay $60 for a game and then realize you don't like it, and oh shoot, I played it just long enough that now I can't get a refund.
Yep.
Um, like that sucks. I get it. But then on the flip side, like if you find a game you like and you play that for hundreds of hours, how many dollars per hour have you just spent on your entertainment for that? Like Hollow Knight, I think I got it when it was $12, and I have over 1,000 hours in there. I'm fractions of a penny per hour that I've
Yeah, but
paid for
I
lots
don't
and lots of
like
entertainment.
the hours to money conversion for games
Yeah,
as any kind of argument, because like at that point the inverse becomes true. You get developers that bloat games so that there's more stuff in there
yeah,
to justify the game being what it is, and you don't need
and
games with bloat.
I get that too, but then also like I think it is still valid though, because like you look at something like a movie, you go out to the theater. That's like for just me and my partner. If we get
Mm-hmm.
snacks while we're there, that's like $75 for like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just that like the amount of money you spend per hour of entertainment, assuming it's actually good entertainment. But that's part of the argument from bloat, where like I fucking hate games where you like the tutorial itself is long enough that now you can't refund it in order to get through the tutorial.
And like the other thing that you have to factor in is that time. First of all, Georgica TTV, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. And Trashomancer, thank you for resubscribing. But the thing that I really, really need to do a video on at some point, honestly, is the fact that with video games or with any media at all, the entertainment value does not stop merely because you've stopped engaging with the media itself. For instance, you go and watch a new movie. A new movie that you know a bunch of your friends are going to go watch, and then you guys are going to talk about that movie afterwards. Your entertainment from that movie is now spilling over into other things. Now you're excitedly talking about this and bonding with your friends more over this shared experience. And the same thing can be true of video games. It's one of the reasons why, like, my favorite RPG is Chrono Trigger. And Chrono Trigger is a 12 to 15-hour RPG. That is very short for a JRPG. That is incredibly short compared to the usual length of time people spend on those games. But there is no JRPG I can think of that I have had more meaningful conversations about with friends of mine who have also enjoyed that RPG. The amount of hours that I have gotten out of that game as entertainment far supersede when the end credits
So
rolled.
I think you're overcomplicating it though, because that same thing applies to both games and TVs and movie. So like that,
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that you can have a short experience like at a movie that you then get more entertainment out of
okay,
afterwards that has nothing to do it has nothing to do with how long the thing was.
sure. Ultimately, though, what it comes down to is the big studios are producing shit and overcharging for it. For a lot of them.
Yeah. Look,
Or so I
one of
hear. I'm
my
not much of a
biggest
gamer
issues.
because I have my one game that I play for 1,200 hours.
I mean, I will say that I felt that way with Dark Excalibur says you're just arguing for adding hours to the calculation. I agree. I mean, yeah, your hours of calculation have less to do with the time playing the game. Like I spend more time engaging with Magic by building decks and fucking with my collection than I do actually playing Magic. As much as I love playing Magic, that shit happens. I spend more time
And
talking
he
about
still pays
Sonic.
$100 an hour for his magic stuff.
It's true. Like I spend more time talking about Sonic than I do playing Sonic. I spend more time talking about Resident Evil than I do playing Resident Evil. These are still some of my favorite things in the entire fucking planet. But I do spend more time doing tertiary things in regards to those media that constantly engaging with the media directly. and I think I've gotten plenty out of them as a result. Um, there was a thing that I was responding to in the beginning, and I don't remember what it was. I have long since ADHD'd past that.
Yeah, me too.
Dark Excalibur says so. Rhino's correct. He's just not counting all the hours accurately. So I think it's not so much that one of us is right or wrong. I don't think that that's where either of us are trying to go on there.
No, it's just a matter of how you consider value.
Yeah, because like, so if a game is 60 hours of slop, it's just slop that is meant to like Skinner box you through it so that you spend a lot of time on it. You're not going to really spend a lot of time talking with your friends about that. So, I mean, you just kind of threw that 60 hours into a blender. But if you're playing, like, say, an MMORPG, an MMORPG is going to take you 60 hours just to get halfway through the fucking leveling system. Like, that's going to take some time. But if you're playing that with your friends, and then you're talking about strategies and builds and shit with your friends afterwards, you're getting all of that there.
I've discovered a flaw in your reasoning, Cyrus.
Okay.
You have assumed that I have friends.
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, but I don't play the same games as you, so we don't talk about this ever.
Right, but we're doing a media exchange where you want me to go through Hollow Knight, and I need to get a game for you to go through.
That's right. Did you decide on a game for that?
I kind of want to see you go through the remake of Resident Evil 1.
Okay.
You can beat that in 5 hours. At least one of the campaigns. There's 2 campaigns.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, that is like a formative game from my childhood.
So you're going to be really disappointed when I don't like it.
I mean, you can not like a thing. That's okay.
Yeah.
Dark Excalibur says, "Oh, I agree. I'm just being a gremlin." Yeah. Sean Helfin says, again, get Sonic. Okay, but look, the only Sonic game I could recommend to Rhino would be one that's good. And
new hat.
At that point, I'm just recommending Shadow Generations.
Duckies. We haven't seen the Duckies in a while. All right, moving on. So, Ted Cruz apparently said, I don't want to get between J.B. Pritzker and the Domino's pizza line, but I'll tell you what I am willing to get between him and his open doors for every human trafficker. To which he replied, and I would never want to get between Ted and a trip to Cancun when there's an emergency in Texas. Which, yes, ha 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 ha. Better one, I wouldn't want to get between Ted and his incest porn on 9/11. Do you not remember that?
I need you to repeat those words for me real quick.
Do you not remember when Ted Cruz liked incest porn on 9/11?
I vaguely remember this, actually.
That was a thing. That was the thing that Ted Cruz did, and then he blamed a staffer. That's what they always do.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, technically it was step siblings or whatever, but fuck off with that nonsense. Just stop with the incest. Why does all the porn have to be incest now? I don't understand that. It's not sexy. It's like I need to fast forward past the part where they're talking about that. You're right.
It's one step away from it.
You're the worst.
I am a terrible influence, and I'm going to continue to be so.
No, Cyrus forgot Horny on Main. I remembered Horny on Main.
Of all the people.
And Jasu says, I'm stuck in Washercoon, Ladder-chan. It upsets me that I get the reference. All right. JD Vance, Couchfucker, says, of all the weird left-wing culture wars in the last few years, this is by far the most bizarre. How dare you pray for innocent people in the midst of tragedy? What are you even talking about? This is in response to him getting criticism. We'd rather your hands
be doing something instead of praying. That's what it is, my guy.
So this is in response for JD Vance getting criticism for offering thoughts and prayers in the wake of the latest school shooting, with people being like, hey, as the second most powerful person on the fucking planet, maybe do something. And he's like, prayers. I'm praying. See the hands? I'm praying. Which is, yeah, impotent.
Mm-hmm.
Much like him when there's not a couch in the room.
Yeah.
And then carrying on with this, he says, it's shocking to me that so many left-wing politicians attack the idea of prayer in response to a tragedy. Literally no one thinks prayer is a substitute for action. Then do something.
Then do something. When you say literally nobody thinks that prayer is a substitute for action, I'm sorry, but why is it that thoughts and prayers are the first thing that's always offered and follow-ups are never given?
Yeah, it's the only thing that's always offered. Who said a couch could cure his impotence? He did. In Hillbilly Elegy. That was definitely a real quote. Yeah. So moving on. This was just crazy. I don't even know what to make of this. So Judy J says, the breakthrough is a layer of more recently sprayed sludge re-wetting the layer that has already formed in the regular cloud layer. It's the next layer of clouds, but it's sucking the existing cloud's moisture back into its weird chemical matrix. Not related, but it's a touch like when we add salt to water and it changes the boiling point. More chemical slurry made its way in and changed the saturation point. Micah Coffee. So that's what she's saying about that picture.
What is that?
It's just clouds.
Okay.
And there's like some atmospheric stuff going on, so there's like a couple lines in the clouds. And they're like chemtrails. The actual clouds are sucking the moisture out of the chemical clouds or some bullshit. I don't actually know. I don't understand. I couldn't parse this. I thought maybe you would know, because sometimes you know weird shit like this.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It's sucking the existing cloud's moisture back into its weird chemical matrix.
I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
I don't know. It's just clouds. They just look like clouds to me. Yeah, they're funky clouds, but like, sometimes clouds be funky.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of conspiracy theories and alien stuff or whatever, it just happens because people don't look up. Like, do you ever go outside on a clear night and just look up and look at the stars, look at the moon, appreciate the beauty? You just, because, like, it's surprising how many UFOs end up being Venus.
I saw it in the night sky. It was bright as hell. Yeah, it was a planet.
And it seems to be following you, because if you look at that light source, it's like, as you're driving, it's going along with you. And then, like, if now this is where brains are weird. If you don't know what you're looking at and it hasn't figured out what that is yet, then it can something like, if you move your head around, it will look like it's zipping around. And I
mean, I had that happen on the way here. So in Illinois, there are a bunch of just like vast fields of nothing that in the dark you can't see shit in, but there's I guess they're towers to signals for planes not to come near the fields, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know what they are, but there's like these blinking red lights, and there's hundreds of them as you're driving past. I have no idea what they're for. Again, middle of the night, couldn't see shit.
Just be
what it
towers. It's the pylons that are carrying the power lines. They have blinking red lights on them to let planes know that they are there.
But they were, I will say, in the dead of night, they looked like they were following my vision, and they were spoopy as shit.
Mm-hmm. Blinking light towers or wind towers. Now, any building above a certain height has to have blinking lights on it for planes. It's usually.
Naki Bree says, like, hundreds of them blinking all at once.
In the situation that you said, I feel like wind turbines or power lines are the most likely culprits. Sorry, I say this as someone who does have some flight experience. I never got my license, but I did train to become a pilot until my grandmother died, and so wasn't paying for it anymore. So it turns out it's actually expensive to rent planes to practice in all the time. But
I said, yeah, they're wind turbines. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Could definitely be wind turbines. But I still think power lines are a likely contender. Okay, Case Orbs. Oh my god, I'm agreeing with Case Orbs too. What is wrong with us today? Case Orbs says the last thing we need is another Clinton in office, and he posted a link to an article talking about how Chelsea Clinton is thinking of running for the Senate. Yeah, let's say no more Clintons. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
I'll make a deal, Sorbo. No Clintons, no Trumps. Can we do that?
And that sounds like no gods, no masters, but it's no Clintons, no Trumps.
I mean, I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah.
There are a lot of broken clocks today. Tom Cotton, who, okay, can we just pause on the name for a second there? I know he's a real guy, but it feels like...
He sounds like a fake account.
If I was writing a story about the antebellum South, and I wanted to have the most racist character in that story, and I named that character Tom Cotton, I feel like the editor would send that back and be like, that name is too on the nose. You got to pick something else. Like, that's what his name sounds like to me, is the super duper racist guy in an antebellum South novel of some kind.
Yeah. He sounds like a joke.
Yeah. But somehow he's a real guy. He says, President Trump is right. Hamas terrorists started this war. They could end it today. All the destruction in Gaza is Hamas's fault.
Also, Lilith, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it.
So
how do we convince you to play Star Ocean on stream? I know it's an older game, but I love it. I don't know is the thing. My problem is time. My problem is always going to be lack of time.
Yeah. So, yeah, speaking of time, that was really bad timing on that interjection there, as we're about to start talking about genocide. So, I know we've said this on this channel before.
Thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate that. Every time we get close to the topic of genocide, I'm just gonna slide it in there.
I can keep going. Yeah, well, we've said
and so can I, because thank you for...
God fucking damn it.
You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now.
Can we just say genocide bad?
Yeah, we can do that.
Whether it's Israel or Hamas doing it?
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Hamas didn't start the war. Israel's been the aggressor in this for decades now.
They didn't start the fire.
October 7th was not the beginning of this conflict.
Nope.
Not by a long shot.
So telling Hamas to immediately give back all the hostages, man.
That's even if they did, that's not going to end the war.
No, it's not.
They should give the hostages back, but Israel should stop bombing babies.
Yeah. Hellbound Hillbilly says always get consent before you slide it in there. Unless they're into that.
Well, then it's consensual non-consent. You still need consent for your non-consent play.
Yeah, but I can't say that it's consensual afterwards, because then
afterwards that's when you gotta do the aftercare. That's some of the most important shit when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Very true. Very true.
Oh, that's the last one. We're done.
Oh, well, we ended on Tom Cotton?
We ended on Tom Cotton and genocide. I know how to plan things.
God, I love America.
America, America. I don't actually know that song.
It's blasphemy when you sing it.
From sea to shining sea.
I prefer the national anthem being I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
I always found it, as a Canadian, I always found it a tad bit offensive that your national anthem is literally like it's about that time when, like, it's about the War of 1812. It was written in the War of 1812, like the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. That was the guy who wrote the song was held captive in a ship while the British forces were attacking whatever fort it was, and he could see the flag in the rocket light. and so
it was
he wrote the
Fort
song.
the White House.
But like the third verse of that song is a little bit offensive to Canadians. Just gonna say. I forget what it is because it's been a long ass time since I've listened to that particular melody.
If I cared more about nationalism, I would say, "Good, I'm glad you're getting offended, brother."
Oh no! You know what? We're not done. We're not done. I want to do a thing.
No, I don't want you to do a thing.
I want to do a thing.
I'd rather you not.
I have to find the thing because I forgot that I wanted to do this thing.
Okay, what's the thing?
Do.
Are we gonna take so long to get it set up that it's gonna lose the comedic timing aspect?
It potentially. It's actually not going to take long to get set up at all. I just need to make sure that I don't have my autofill turned on so that I don't dox myself with it. Dun, dun, dun. Just disable it right now. Autofill options for this website. Don't autofill any options.
I believe in you.
Okay, there we go. Boop, boop, boop. Okay.
Yep. I can't read that shit.
I don't think that's the right one.
First name, last name, phone number.
Oop. Yeah, that is the right one. So I'm in. Okay. So this is the PragerU teacher qualification test.
Okay.
So we're going to go through that together.
Sweet.
First name. Let's make it something fun. Prager.
John.
And suck a dick.
Oh, I thought we were going to call him John Stroker.
No, Prager can suck a dick.
Okay.
Phone number 999-999-9999.
69. Where's the 69?
Sure. Email address.
Damn it.
I'm just going to use my email because...
Please submit PragerU teacher qualifications to Vice Rhino at...
Oh, phone number doesn't look right. God damn it. Let's see. I think 904 is California.
Okay.
What's an exchange in California?
I have no idea.
67121 or 2. That's a 4. 2413. Sure, let's call it that. And it worked. Address 125 America Boulevard.
Gotta love America.
City. I mean, it's giving me the... Sure. Palo Alto, California. That's what it's telling me. 94304? Sure. 94304. Country... United States of Trumplandia.
America.
Which best describes you? Let's say we're a teacher educator.
Best describes me as American.
So there's 34 questions. Let me adjust the crop. Just a second. Studio mode. No. What are you doing? Oh, that's the wrong thing is selected. There we go. There we go. Let's just delete that. There we go.
Now I can't read shit.
Yeah, I know. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Ah!
Oh, I can read now.
Okay.
Thanks, Mickey.
Question 1. According to the Supreme Court case Meyer versus Nebraska, 1923, and Pierce versus Society of Sisters, 1925, who has the ultimate right to direct a child's education? A.
The
Superintendent
parents.
of Schools. B. The parents. C. The Board of Education. D. The Federal Department of Education.
I'll take B for $100, Jim.
Okay. That is correct. Next question. What is the fundamental biological distinction between males and females? A. Height and weight. B. Blood type. C. Personal preference. D. Chromosomes and reproductive anatomy.
Why is this a fucking question?
On a teacher's qualification
Why
quiz.
is this a fucking question?
On a teacher's qualification test.
Like, biological distinction that's just a leading term, because we can say that, you know, the biological distinction is chromosomes and reproductive anatomy, but it would
the
be
social
wrong.
distinction.
But it would still be wrong because we're not talking about fucking gametes.
Yep.
But okay, sure, continue.
How is a child's biological sex typically identified? A. Parental affirmation of the child's preference. B. Personal feelings. C. Visual anatomical observation and chromosomes. D. Online registration.
Do we fucking scan chromosomes?
We do not.
What the fuck are they talking about?
They just have to get that in there because they know that visual anatomical observation is not actually sufficient in all cases to determine sex.
They just do the visual, they literally just do the anatomical observation, as evidenced by the fact that when you have an intersex kid, they're basically doing a best guess on which side to snip.
Yeah. So we know what answer they're going for, so let's just cheat the system. That is correct. Which chromosome pair determines biological sex in humans?
Why are we focusing so fucking much on the
because
trans
this
shit?
is the most important issue when determining whether or not teachers are qualified.
Why is the determining factor for whether you can be a teacher how you feel about trans people? Why is that the... What?
They didn't say anything about trans people, sirs. I mean, obviously that's where they're going, but like...
Shut the fuck up and eat a dicycle.
Yeah. So we know they're looking for
XXXY
in there.
Sure.
So, why is the distinction between male and female considered important in areas like sports and privacy? For equity in minor communities, to preserve fairness, safety, and integrity for both sexes.
If I'm a teacher who's not a fucking biology teacher, why the fuck do I care?
Cyrus, this test is actually being used in Oklahoma. This is the actual test they are using in Oklahoma before you're allowed to teach there.
Then burn Oklahoma. Fuck it. We could be a 49-state country. That's fine.
Okay. So, why is the distinction between male and female considered important in areas like sports and privacy? For equity in minority communities, to preserve fairness, safety, and integrity for both sexes, to increase participation in sports, to enhance the self-esteem of transgender children.
They think they're going to ask for it to be B. That's what they want it to be.
Yeah, that's what they want it to be. But especially in schools, it doesn't fucking matter. All the sports are co-ed. Like,
okay,
until you get to high school, all the sports are co-ed. Whatever. Question 6. Should teachers be allowed to express their own political viewpoint in the classroom in order to persuade students to adopt their point of view?
What is a political viewpoint? What is our definition of a political viewpoint? Because fucking anything can be boiled down to politics. Every goddamn thing can be boiled down to it. So what is a political viewpoint?
Here's the thing, is like they're looking for D, which is no, the classroom is not an appropriate venue for political activism. But that's what they're doing. They're doing political activism.
Yeah, this is them saying, no, the individual teachers don't have a right to this, but we, PragerU, do. So let's just press D and move on, I guess.
Let's just collect the D. No, it's not. What did the Supreme Court rule in 2025 case Mahmoud v. Taylor?
What did the Supreme Court...
That was the one...
Why would it fucking matter? Why would it matter? You're a teacher, and if you're not a teacher of law, why the fuck do you care?
No, this one does matter because they...
None of this fucking matters.
This one does matter because... No, this one actually matters because if you're a teacher and you get the letter from the parent saying, hey, I don't want my kid in your class because you are gay, then you have to let that kid not be in your class. Because, yeah, that's what it ruled. What are the first 3 words of the Constitution?
We the people.
No, A, in God we trust.
That's not 3 words.
B, we the people. C, life, liberty, happiness. And D, the United States. Like, so for this one, like, they knew that they had to get it down to 3 words because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
But they couldn't just type in God we.
Yeah, like, oh, they're so dumb. We the people.
What do we have
That's
next?
Also technically that's the preamble. That's not actually part of the Constitution.
Yeah, but they're dumb.
I know. Why is freedom of religion important to America's identity? A, it protects religious choice from governmental control. B, it makes Christianity the national religion. C, it bans all forms of public worship. D, it limits the religious teaching in the public square.
They want it to be A, and I could even argue that A is also like technically correct. So
It is technically correct, but they just don't understand what that means.
Yeah, they don't.
And also, like, they are making B, like, the way they use the term freedom of religion, B is the answer, but A is the correct answer.
You can be any religion you want, so long as it's Jeebus.
Yeah. What are the two parts of U.S. Congress? House of Lords and House of Commons, Judiciary and the Senate, Executive and Legislative, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Yeah, we all know that one.
Yeah, it's Senate and the House of Representatives. But...
Just for the record, I've already been through this thing.
But you don't have to know that if you're not a teacher who focuses on that.
So, fun fact, I've already been through this, and as a Canadian, I got one question wrong. That was it. It's so fucking basic. How many U.S. senators are there? That's 100. No.
Yeah, because it's two per state. Yeah, it's House of Representatives has more.
Why do some states have more representatives than others? Representation is allocated by population. They cover a larger geographic area. They have held statehood for a longer period. I'm not going to read all the answers for this. We've gotten past the trans things. That's the most egregious part of this.
What is the primary responsibility of the presidential cabinet? Advise the president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who signs bills into laws? The president.
Why does any of this matter if you are a biology teacher?
What is the highest court of the United States? It doesn't.
The Supreme Court. What is...
In the United States, which of the following is a responsibility reserved only for citizens? Serve on a jury, own a home, pay taxes, possess a driver's license. Obviously serve on a jury.
Yeah.
Which of the following are...
Did they just try to say that it's not a citizen's duty to pay taxes? Is that the implication there?
Uh-huh, yeah. Or, well, what I got out of there is that the illegals don't pay taxes because they're not citizens. So which of the following are explicitly listed in the Bill of Rights? Freedom of speech and religion, voting and public education, reproductive rights and healthcare, or freedom from data collection and surveillance?
It's A. That's the one that's explicitly in there.
Yeah.
But...
So they're trying to tell you that you don't actually have a right to all those other ones.
Yeah, that's what the implication is.
What does the Second Amendment protect? The right to keep and bear arms in a well-organized militia. I noticed that you're missing that part.
No, it wants us to have bear arms, so...
What is the supreme law of the United States? Presidential executive orders, laws passed by Congress and signed by the president, laws passed by state legislatures and signed by state governors, or the Constitution?
They're going to say it's the Constitution.
Yes.
Despite the fact that there are several things the Constitution doesn't fucking cover, which is why we have amendments. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Who wrote the first draft of the Declaration of Independence? I think this is the one that I got wrong.
Optimus Prime. I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter.
It's Thomas Jefferson.
We're not... If we're not doing political history, none of this fucking matters. If you're a teacher who doesn't cover this shit, if you're a math teacher, what the fuck does any of this have to do with anything?
Because you got to be sufficiently jingoistic.
Don't fucking care.
When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? July 4th, 1776. What's the primary reason the colonists fought the British? To resist expansion of the British Empire, to maintain slavery, to resist taxation without representation. Looking at you, DC and Guam and American Samoa and
They're going to say it's C, but we don't live up to those values.
No, we don't. Who were the first 3 U.S. presidents? Oh, no, this is the one I got wrong.
It wasn't Ben Franklin.
Yeah, no, it was Washington, Jefferson, Madison. Is that it?
Yep.
I don't remember. That's not right.
No? Fuck if I know. Again, it's not important fucking information. It's not.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson? There we go. But also, like, if you get it wrong, it just sends you back to the question. You get it right again. So this is the teacher qualification test. If these were actually important questions, you wouldn't be able to do that. It's just
because it's not about qualification. It's about them being able to say, "Hey, technically, you agreed to all of our bullshit."
Yeah. Who is called the father of our country? George Washington. I don't know who calls him that, but that's what they're looking for. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? Here. We get to some fun stuff here. It ended prohibition, it freed Confederate generals, freed slaves in the North, and ended slavery in the rebelling Confederate states.
They're gonna want it to be D.
Uh-huh. That's correct. What was Abraham Lincoln's primary reason for waging the Civil War?
To preserve the Union?
To preserve the Union, not to abolish slavery.
It was to preserve the Union, because he literally was quoted saying that if he could preserve the Union without abolishing slavery, he would.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's one that they bring out a lot of times to say that the Civil War wasn't about slavery.
But now that we're done talking about the slavery stuff, we got to move on to Martin Luther King Jr. so that we're not talking about black people badly.
Yeah. What was he best known for? Advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion? Yes, actually.
Yeah, but they're going to say that it's D.
Yeah. But, like, absolutely, he was advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion. How did the Cold War end? The Soviet Union collapsed, I think.
Yeah, that's like the country we were dealing with stopped having money.
Yeah. Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? Like, remember those big times that everybody remembers as being bad? Which president's responsible for that is what they're going for here, because it's FDR, and he did a lot of good shit that they don't want you to think is good shit.
Yeah.
What's the name of the national anthem?
Star-Spangled Banner.
Jingoism. Why are there 13 stripes on the states to symbolize the original colonies?
13 original colonies.
Yeah. Which national holiday honors those who died while serving the U.S. military?
Memorial Day.
Which of the following is a phrase from the Pledge of Allegiance? One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Was not always that way, but sure. Why
No,
the fuck
originally
not?
it was C. Last question. For whom does the United States government derive its power? Right now from the president.
It's supposed to be from the people,
It's
but
supposed
it's
to
top
be.
down now.
Yeah. That is correct. How would you rate the difficulty of their test? Easy. It's a fucking joke.
Can we put a version of it that just says stupid? Like, can the difficulty level be stupid? Do they have a fucking picture of Dennis Prager at the
They have
end?
a picture of Dennis Prager.
God, my boner's gone. I'm sorry.
Didn't realize that you had it in the first place at the moment. Okay. So
Neither did
now
I.
I have to show you the oh no.
National anthem should be I don't want to be an American idiot.
Bang, 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 ba-ding, bang, bang.
What are we doing now?
I am getting the certificate.
Why is there a certificate for this fucking shit? This is as useless as those certificates you got from the Pokemon trading card game tutorial CD-ROM.
There. This is to certify that Prager can suck a dick, has successfully completed teacher qualification test. So,
We
there we
have
go.
fun here.
It's nice that they tried to do some data validation on their little form. I was actually like, when I thought about doing that, I'm like, they'll probably have a flag go up if you write about. No, they can't with Dick because some people's first name
the
is
only
Dick.
flag they had was the American flag, brother.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. So yeah, that's it for our stream. It's an early one
seem
tonight.
to be it. It is,
Yeah.
and I got stuff to do, so that works out. Actually,
Are you still streaming?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I wish I had time to, but I do
Okay.
not.
I will see if there's someone to raid. If not, I'm not raiding anyone.
Woo!
But I do have a special end credit segment for you today.
What we got?
So as always, fuck off.